All right, back in the basement again today for a quick video just talking about these Chrome dumbbells from Xmaster. I have in front of you the 5 to 25 pound set. However, I'm going to compare these directly to the 5 to 100 pound set I have from Rep Fitness in their fixed urethane dumbbells. Now, let me just kind of get this out of the way. At the end of the day, these dumbbells function and perform the same way as any other fixed dumbbell out there. They're accurate, they feel good in the hand, and they do what they're supposed to do. What I think are going to set these apart, if you're looking at them or if you're interested in them, is because you want a Chrome style dumbbell, which these are. So I think aesthetically speaking, these look better in some instances than the Rep Fitness version, which tends to be more of just like a rebrand. Now, I love those dumbbells. I've had them for several years, but if you look at Rogues or Titans, there's not much difference outside of just the logo branded on the end. And the same could actually maybe be said of these. These look very similar to like some of the Watsons or some of the other dumbbells coming out from overseas, but I do like these. You might not be partial to the Xmaster name or logo. The good news is if you really hate it that much, you could always unbolt these and put in your own custom nameplates like some higher end manufacturers like Watson would typically do for you. So overall, dumbbell wise, functionality wise, they're the same as any other dumbbell. What's going to set them apart and make you decide on these is the look and maybe some cases the price. So let's get that out right out of the way. For a 5 to 100 pound set in 5 pound increments for the Xmasters, you're looking at $7,400 delivered. That's free shipping. For the Rep Fitness version, 5 to 100 pounds in the fixed urethane, 5 pound increments, you're looking at $5,600. So an $1,800 price difference. Is that worth it? Well, that's more up to you to decide, but the more dumbbells you get, the bigger that price gap is going to be. If you're looking at just like the 5 to 50 pound set, in order to do it through Xmaster, it's going to be roughly about $500 more than the Rep Fitness equivalent. And again, as you add some of those other sets on top, that price gap starts to increase. So is that price worth it? That's up to you to decide. There are a lot of similarities though outside of that. So like for instance, like a lot of the fixed dumbbells, what you'll find is different size heads on different dumbbells. So with the Xmaster series, you have 3 different sized heads. The 5s and the 10s are the same in this case. You also have 15s up to around 50 pounds remaining the same. And once you get above 50, you have a little bit bigger head diameter, which also is very similar to what we have on the Rep Fitness model, which I'll show you in B-roll. Again, I only have up to 25 pounds here on the Xmaster, so I can't show you those. You also have different handle diameters depending on the weight. For the most part, outside of one pair of dumbbells, you're either going to be getting 32 or 34 millimeters. Now, from what I can tell, the Rep Fitness ones are all the same. They feel the same. I'll break out my calipers, but the 5 to even the heaviest dumbbell I own, 100, they all are the same diameter handle, which I actually really like. Now, 32 to 34 isn't a huge difference. Again, I don't have where that kind of changes in this line, so I can't show you. But I can show you the one outlier, which is the 5 pound plate. Now in this case, because this is like a full metal dumbbell and there's no urethane stuff to offset it, it's not a hex head, and they want to keep the actual plate sizes and diameter somewhat similar or as close as they can across the lines, they had to shave the weight off somewhere. There was somewhere they had to give. And in that case, that is the handle of the 5 pound dumbbell. This thing is tiny. It feels like a toy. It looks like a toy. It is the odd duck out. It's still completely usable, but it just feels off, right? It doesn't feel like a normal dumbbell, but I'd much rather have a thinner handle than really tiny end plates here on the face. Now, what's interesting is like when I look online at some of the offerings from like Watson, which I've kind of compared these two aesthetically a little bit, although the Watsons are stainless steel, these are chromed. These should be coming out in stainless steel from what I saw. I don't believe Watson actually offers a 5 pound dumbbell. It starts at 10 pounds, and that's probably the reason why. They probably didn't want to give you this little tiny handle. So just be fully aware of that, that this is the only pair within the entire setup to 150 that is like that. Now, when it comes to the handle itself, otherwise, it is a fixed handle, no rotating. That is not an option right now. There's 6 inches between both plates, which is identical to what I have on the Rep Fitness model. It's almost a completely knurled handle. You have about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of smooth on the inside where you wouldn't really be gripping. One of the things that you can do with these, if you really want to save yourself some money, is get something like micro gains plates to add in. They worked fine on my Rep Fitness dumbbells already have, they will work fine on this. What that can allow you to do is actually make those 5-pound jumps between dumbbells without having to buy a full other set. So you can basically save yourself half of the sets if you're looking for those 5-pound jumps. Now the micro gains plates that I have are actually 2.5-pound increment jumps. So it's like 1.25 per side that you would put on. And my wife uses that because she uses dumbbells a lot in her training, but she wants things like 12.5 pounds, 17.5 pounds, 22.5. And I didn't want to buy those, nor did I think Rep actually makes those 2.5-pound jumps. So they're an easy fix, although those should be interesting on something like this with the thinner handle diameter. Everything else, like I said, 32 to 34, not going to be a problem. Now, I mentioned already these look very similar to the Watsons. Like, I really like this bolt-on faceplate design. Whether you like the logo, or again, that's up to you or not. You could always change these out. But one of the things I will say about the design that I'm not in love with is these tend to show a little bit of wear. In fact, when I opened these out of the package, there were some kind of micro scratches on the faceplates because, again, they're shiny, they're glossy. It's easy to see dust on these. It's easy to see fingerprints. And unfortunately, it was also easy to see some scratches. Now, one of the things I also didn't like is when Xmaster posted some of these in their factory, which they post a lot of their stuff, which is cool to see. But as people were in the factory getting these ready for shipment, they were taking these dumbbells out of the packaging. And even though these bolts are raised, there's a raised rubber logo, they were basically putting these down face first onto what looked like a stainless steel table, which I imagine could lead to some stuff getting scuffed, especially for some of the heavier weights out there. So unfortunately, there's no really way around it. And even if I'm touching this right now, I'm looking at all the fingerprints that are on there. But again, that's one of the downsides to having chrome. It looks great, but also could potentially require some upkeep. So end of the day, these work just like any other dumbbells. I think they look pretty cool because they're chrome. They are more expensive though. And if that cost is worthwhile is really something you're going to have to take a hard think about if you're considering something like this. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Would you rock these over urethanes? Would you rock these over Hex? Is the price really that important? I'm kind of feeling it is. But in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.